Hey everyone, welcome to Kingdom Heirs Book Club. We are finishing up The Secret of the Millionaire Mind. You can see the title behind me. We're working on the last leg of the book, and I grabbed one of the principles, and I'll go ahead and read that. It says, rich people see every dollar as a seed that can be planted to earn $100 more, which can then be replanted and earn $1,000 more.
Mm-hmm.
And so this book has been about just changing our mindset about money, stripping us of what we were told over the years from our family, our friends, and what we grew up with. And so in order for us to get to $1,000 in our endeavors, we had to get $1 million mind. And so not only did the book have declarations, but it was also, we had to lay hands on our head and said, I have a millionaire mind. And so that's one of the mindsets that I wanted to really bring out today. And that is, and here, let me go the same way as you, so it looks the same on camera. It's time that our money starts to work hard for us instead of us working hard for our money. And so it says money, think of money as a seed. So I'm fortunate enough to have someone here tonight that plants seeds every year in her garden. And so I had, I was going to I'm using an orange as my illustration. And do you know there's not one seed in my orange?
What?
There's not one seed in there, but I just, for demonstration purposes, I just wanted to show the seed of an orange. If we were to plant an orange seed, we would get a tree. And so, and from that tree has to go from a plant to a tree to bloom flowers, and then it produces the end results of an orange. Mm-hmm. And I know my background is hiding it a little, but I just wanted to say that from it to go from a seed to this, that may take 7 to 15 years.
Yeah.
And so we get a little impatient with our investments. And so we pull out before it gets to maturity. And some of the things we will talk about, why we don't hang in there from the beginning or even get started. And the book talks about fear, doubt, and worry. And so with this orange, if we were to plant it, it's one seed is going to grow more than one orange.
Mm-hmm.
And not only, and there goes my battery, but not only just one orange, the tree may grow like 200 to 300 oranges off of one tree.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is where you can help me out, Teal. Like, if you're going to plant an orange, you want an orange tree, I'm going to say you wouldn't go out with just one seed. You need more than one seed because not all seeds germinate or whatever it does to open up.
I agree. I definitely believe in multiple streams of income. You have to have more than one seed going on, because sometimes due to the nature of the environment or whatever, one seed might not be as fruitful in a given season as another seed in another season. So as one might not be producing as much, the others can make up for that. And then let's say we get into a season where the ones over here may not be producing as much. You have the ones on the other side making up for that. So you don't put all your eggs in one basket. In other words, you do not only have income from only one source. You're not planting only one seed. You're planting multiple.
Right. And so in planting a seed, so for those that are planning your gardens this year, 2020-21, now you're expecting to harvest this year. So you're expecting that seed to produce something that you could eat this year versus if I plant this orange seed, I'll say this is long term.
Yes, some seeds will germinate and produce fruit in your life faster than some other seeds. But usually the ones that you're planting for the long term are definitely going to be the ones that are more fruitful, you know? So it's not that you shouldn't plant them because they're not producing anything right now. That seed you're planting may take longer to germinate, but will produce more bountifully in the future.
And before I rush to the end part of, producing the orange, now you first have to go out and prepare your ground.
Right. You have to create the environment to give the seeds that you are planting their best possible chance for success. Give them their best chance.
Right. So you wouldn't just go out there and put a seed in the ground and walk away and leave it.
No.
Look, we're going somewhere. We're going somewhere.
Right.
So at the beginning of an investment, that's where your due diligence comes in, where you're researching, you're looking, you may have some short-term investments that will, that you can harvest that year, like tomatoes, cucumbers, green vegetables.
Absolutely.
That you can plant today and will have in a couple of months. So, but you still know no matter if it's an orange seed or a cucumber seed or tomato seed, you have to get the ground, prep the ground for the seed. Then you have to plant the seed in order for it to grow. It's not going to grow in the package. It's not going to grow in your pocket. It's not going to grow in your shoe. You got to put it in the ground so that it could die and then come forth as a plant. And then you have to water. Like you said, the right environment. You're going to have to go out there and pick weeds sometimes.
Yep.
Chase away the rabbits or whatever that may come in and eat your plants. But you have to tend to it. But then once it gets past a certain stage, you don't have to babysit it.
Correct. Yep. So, I mean, I see, so in the metaphor about the seeds, for me, seeds are dollars, right? You plant your seeds into fertile ground. You're planting your dollars into fruitful investments. When you're taking care of those dollars, awaiting the germination of your dream, you take care of those dollars, like you said with the seed. You take care of it by you got to water it, got to put some fertilizer down, you got to get the birds and the bugs away. You got to pick the weeds so the weeds will come in and try to steal the nutrients. And you don't want the nutrients going to the weeds. You want the nutrients going to the seeds. And that's the same thing when you plant your dollars into investments. You have to sometimes invest a little time and a little energy to make sure that your investment dollars are getting properly germinated. So that time and that energy that you're investing is in the evaluation of this investment. Is this investment going to be good for me? I have to do my due diligence. I have to do my research and figure out what's up. Now, this investment can be anything that you're passionate about. It can. I have a friend who makes soap. She makes these amazingly scented little soaps, and when the spring and the summer comes around, she gets a booth at these little craft fairs, different ones that happen through the season, and she sells off these soaps and everything, and then she makes enough money on those things to cover anything she wants to do for Christmas and to cover any vacation she wants to take. So she has a plan, right? She does the research. She figures out where the fairs are going to be, when they're going to be, She puts them on the schedule, gets her application in to make sure she gets her booth on time, and she hits up these fairs through the spring and the summer, and she sells her wares. And then the time and the energy that she invests in that little small business that she's got going for herself produces those seeds she plants, produces more seeds that she can then do other things with.
And so that's another way you can invest into a business, put some money in and put the work in. She created a product, and so she reaps the benefits of her labor. And I think that was my topic this morning, enjoying the fruits of your labor. Yeah. And so I was like, people look at the word enjoy and then fruit and miss the word labor. They miss the middle. Word labor. So after you plant the seed, it's growing. And so then there's the reward. You go out and you harvest what you have planted and what you work so hard to achieve. And sometimes there's, and I think this is where where fear may come and worry and doubt may happen, whereas sometimes your crops get destroyed because the weather changes.
Yep.
And so, but that's all a part of life.
Yes.
Not just for investing, but also part of life. And Teal and I, excuse me, we play the cash flow game. So we're having babies, we're getting laid off, we're, buying things.
Oh, that game is good for throwing curveballs at you.
Right. So things do happen. But that doesn't mean that if someone hears like, oh, we had a bad crop this year, that, hey, don't take that chance, because the chances of that happening year after year is rare. Can it happen year after year? It can. But, and even like I was just doing a little research, and it was saying the more experience farmer can get up to 400 or 500 oranges. So the more experience you have, the more crop you get. And I think we were talking about, and that's how I found out that you do a garden every year, is that there's certain seasons in which you plant.
Yeah. So you can plant, take care of your seed, and then harvest. But if you do a little bit of research, a little more research, you can actually strategically plant and harvest. And what I mean by that is some crops are a little more suited to a weather and a cooler weather. Some are a little more suited to a warmer weather. And so if you plan it right and time it right, you can start some seeds indoors around the February-March timeframe and transplant them outside in April, after there won't be any more frost. And those can germinate and grow and be harvested in July, where you can then plant another season of fall crops in July that you can then harvest in October-ish, right before the first frost of the winter starts to show up. So with some planning and some strategy, you can get 2 harvests out of every season, and I feel it's exactly the same way with the way that you invest your money, whether you're investing in the stock market, whether you're investing in businesses, whether you're investing in real estate. With some due diligence, research, and some strategic planning, you can get the most bang for your buck.
This is awesome. Planning and strategy. I love it. I love it. This is good talk. This is good talk. But it's
one of the things that I found the most beneficial about Secrets of the Millionaire Mind is just get over the whole thing in your head about I can't do it, and just think to yourself, how can I do this? And when you're doing that research and you uncover that obstacle, don't think of that obstacle as something to stop you. Think to yourself, how can I get over this? How can I get around this? And every time you come up with an obstacle, against an obstacle, think, how can I get around this? And before you know it, you've got a plan in place that's pretty solid that you can operate from.
Yes, yes. And you can keep repeating it. You know, once you learn that,
rinse, repeat.
So tell me, your plants are fully grown. It's, you know, you can eat the tomatoes, the cucumbers, the greens. Now, what happens if you don't go out there to harvest them?
Well, it would go to waste. The fruit would stay on the vine until they over ripen and then, you know, fall off. They're no good to eat, you know. So you don't want to put in the effort and then not harvest. And the best thing to do when you're kind of in that season of harvesting where you're reaping the benefits of your decisions and of your choices is to share the wealth, is to give back, is to form the community and say, hey, I grew all these oranges, you know, here's some oranges for you and oranges for you and oranges for you. I love to share them with you, but what I would really love to share with you is how you can grow your own oranges. You know, so take the knowledge that you have acquired as you've figured out a plan and you're starting to see rewards. Pass that knowledge on to the next generation. Pass that knowledge on to other members of your community, other people's in your family, the young people that are coming along behind you. You know, break these curses of generational poverty, you know. That's where I'm at when mentally, I'm like, when I get all of this figured out and I'm marching down this road, as I'm going, I'm sharing. As I'm learning, I'm sharing. So y'all can come on this journey with me, you know.
Now you just glide me right on into the next piece of it, because it's not, the wealth is not just for us.
Right.
You know, it's for us to be a blessing. We're blessed to be a blessing.
We are blessed.
And so we have a tree outside that has 200 and 300 oranges on it. There's no way that I'm an empty nester now, but even my daughter, there's no way we could eat 200 to 300. So of course now I have an overflow to share with my neighbors, my friends, my family. And then, of course, we said we didn't just grow one tree. We didn't just go out there and plant one. We planted more. So that means that one seed has multiplied. So now I have all these oranges. And then inside each orange, there's at least 5 or 6 seeds. Not in mine. My oranges don't have any seeds. But in the normal orange, it has 5 to 6 seeds, which then means that I can throw it away or I can plant those, which then becomes legacy. Yeah. So not only for my generation, it'll feed my daughter's generation, it'll feed her children's generation. So this could go on for a long time. And so that's what I'm saying, that when we enter this world, God gives us everything that we need. Now we can squander it, but just even thinking about fruit, and I mean, he's giving me the analogy. I did a like on bananas or whatever it is, not bananas, lemons, but still there's seeds in here that we throw away. So now oranges are coming without seeds. You know what I'm saying? To whereas we just take life for granted and in the gifts. If we were to plant the seed, we'd be rich.
You know what I really like about your orange metaphor is that, you know, some investments are long-term investments. And that's what, you know, an orange tree or an oak tree or, you know, the trees in general. Trees have to be around for years before they will start to bear their fruit. So that's like a longer term investment. Shorter terms investments are like tomatoes or green beans, where you can plant those seeds and harvest a crop a few months later. So the seeds that we plant have to be diverse and cross all those spectrums. You know, some reap quick rewards, some take long time to start really being fruitful for you.
So now I'll ask you the question, do you see your money differently now?
Do I see it differently since reading this book?
Well, I'm talking about even in reference to a seed. So if that's your seed, and a lot of people consume their seed, they eat their seeds, they squander their seeds. But if you know that it's tied to your current,
yes,
shorter terms, your middle term, and then your long term, long after you're gone, it's still the tree, you know, because I'm sure after we harvest the first year, we're not going to cut the tree down.
No, we're not going to cut the tree down. So I'll say that I've always been a planner, right? However, my knowledge in the space began to grow later in life as opposed to sooner in life. So what I'm trying to do now is ensure that the generations that come along behind me learn it sooner rather than later. Don't take as long as I did to figure things out, figure some things out. So I want to make sure that I am passing it on to my successive generations earlier. But I've always been pretty much a planner. So I've always operated from a plan. But then when I guess what I would say is financially, I looked at money as a compartmentalized budget, and I made sure my bills were paid. And I thought for a long time in my adult life that making sure my bills was paid was the thing to do. I learned a little later that in addition to paying your bills, you got to plant those seeds that are going to change your financial picture as you go. And so that's something that I wish I'd started when I was younger. And I want to make sure that the young people coming along behind me start sooner than I did. You know, it's not good enough to just make sure your bills are paid.
Right.
Yes, you got to plant seeds beyond that.
I agree. And the other point that I wanted to make is that, you know, I'll be 57 next month. I'm pretty sure it's 57, but it's still not too late. I could definitely plant a long-term seed today. And if an orange tree takes 7 to 15 years to grow, I believe I got 7 more years left. I mean, I don't take life for granted. God can decide differently for me. But again, it's not too late age-wise. You know, some people are like, well, I missed out on that opportunity, but age-wise, got another good 7 years in you. So, hey, if it takes 7 years to build this long-term, and most definitely I would be able to go out there and pluck off an orange and eat it. And, I'm like the 4th generation of business owner and real estate. My grandfather and his father purchased over 100 acres of land in South Carolina. And my dad has 11 siblings, but including my dad, a couple of them have passed away. And so I was part of it being passed down. So what I'm trying to say is that my grandfather had pecan trees.
Okay.
He had a farm. He has, they grew cotton, they grew tobacco. And, I was telling my father and his siblings were going to retire and all move back to the land and build a retirement center, which they got as far as Conway. So that's why I have a house in Conway, along with the farm in Florence. And, you know, I was telling my dad, because the city had purchased some land through the property and put a main road through there. And I was telling my dad, I said, let's find out what they're going to do zoning wise so that we can build accordingly. And so he was down. I took a trip down there, got a realtor. But then again, there's other of his siblings. And so the aunt that's been taking care of the land, because everybody moved away except for her. And so she wasn't interested at the time, but we still own the property, still in the family. But when my father passed away, they had decided to sell the farm because it's 11 of them, and then they all have kids. So it's true. It would have gotten complicated. So my uncle bought it. And so him and his children, him and his son owns it, but he has children. So it's still, he said he made a promise to my grandfather that he would never sell it. And so he would make sure that it was never sold. And so anyway, what I'm saying is that my mind just started churning, like, okay, you know, my grandfather did leave. And like I said, the pecan trees, you know, those trees will keep producing year after year. And of course you can keep planting and make it more. So I think I'm gonna give my cousin a call and just really start talking again, because the ground was fruitful. So at one point we did start renting it out to a farmer, and they were growing their crops. But anyway, my mind is churning for some opportunities, as we have the land and the space. So we don't have any oranges. We didn't have any orange trees, but pecans are a commodity too. So
absolutely.
But that's all I had. I wanted to just bring out those points, and I know there's no fear in you, because you're moving and shaking, and you know.
I'm trying. Yes,
So,
I am. Step out on faith. Take a risk. You know, playing it safe isn't gonna get me where I want to get. So,
right.
You got to take some big leaps of faith. But I am very confident that things will work out.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, I have a straight path. We've been working on our vision boards, our financial plan on how we're going to get there, and the investments that we're going to use to get there. So I've never been so much clearer than I have ever before. So I'm excited. And I'm going to just go ahead and end this video. Thank you all for joining us. I hope that we shared some nuggets that you can use to take you to your destination. And so we're going to say goodbye for now.